Jay here, Stretford, Paddock. This is Paddock Live. Joining me, as always, is Mr. Joe Smith. Smith even. But I'm so confused because we're not in the usual Paddock Live studio, are we?
No.
We're in the Paper Talk, Brew, Paddock Podcast, Explain a Video.
But look at this big telly we've got.
Look at that beautiful bald man.
Ten Hag. What are we talking about today, Jay?
Ten Hag. We're going to be talking about Eriksen. Your man there. We're going to be talking about Anthony.
Not Eric's son.
Not Eriksen.
Nice.
Eriksen. Yeah? Christian. That's what we're going to be talking about. We're going to talk about him. We're going to talk about Anthony. Bit of movement there, perhaps. Timber, not so much movement there. It looks like we're talking about this kid as well. Aren't we?
Vitinha.
Yes, we had him in that Paper Talk the other day outside Old Trafford. Could be a bit of an update there. There's a little bit of intrigue going on here. So whether United have actually made a bid or are about to make another bid that activates his release clause. So we'll get into all that as well. And there's outgoings. There's Dean Henderson. There's Paul Pogba's gone, but he's got a new club now. Manu Matic is gone, but he's got a new club now. So we'll get into all that as well. And we'll have the inevitable Frenkie de Jong update.
Inevitable.
He is inevitable, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's like Thanos.
Yeah.
Yep, inevitable. As always, get involved in the chat and the comments and hit that like button. Give us a like if you're watching. Austin WD, I think it says, welcome to the Academy. Thanks for all your support. Smirky Nick says, evening, good evening. Right, what we're going to get into first. Should we start off, I think, with a bit of Eriksen, innit?
Yeah.
Can you see that?
I can read
that. Go on, show us.
Eriksen has been speaking to Viaplay and he said, I've got different options and offers, we're considering which and we'll make a decision. He said this a couple of days ago, that he'd love to play Champions League football. He knows how much fun it is, but it isn't essential to him. So why say it then? Why bring it up?
Yeah,
Just keep quiet. Just keep stum.
Everyone's losing their mind now, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like, today's been the first day where I've noticed a lot of my timeline on social media are beginning to go like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Why are we not signing anyone? Get rid of Murtagh, get rid of Arnold.
Honestly, right, if you search John Murtagh into Twitter today, you would think he was the leader of some despotic regime from the 20th century.
Such good word, despotic.
Honestly, it's like John Murtagh is worse than Woodward. John Murtagh needs to be sacked. John Murtagh has to go. John Murtagh is a failure. John Murtagh is a Glazer puppet. Like, all these things because 6 days into the transfer window opening, we haven't broken our transfer record yet, and therefore he's worthless. Like, give someone more than 6 days, I would say, especially when it's a job that he's got a lot of shit to sort of fix. And obviously this is a big job that he's got now, but like we're giving someone more of a chance than this, aren't we, Jay? Surely.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing that has got everyone's sort of back up is the fact that Liverpool have got the Núñez deal over the line quickly. Yeah. City had the Haaland deal in the pipeline for months.
Yeah.
It was announced the other day. It wasn't done the other day.
No.
They didn't go on Monday or whenever it was and go ring up Erling Haaland's agent and go, oh, can we get a deal done? It was done. They just waited till the transfer window to announce it.
Yeah.
So that was already done. And also, it's not too difficult if you're paying what people want. Haaland had a release clause, he met his wage demands, not an issue. Darwin Núñez, Benfica wanted €100 million. Liverpool were the only club who were prepared to pay that. So that was a done deal. Now, listen, I get that we should be going, I think we should be going for Núñez and paying what he wants. I think we should have that money because the Glazers are wasting all this other money on debt repayments and dividends. So we should be able to go toe-to-toe with anyone. But we're not able to. We've got this budget. So on this budget, I understand that we do have to sort of cut our cloth accordingly. And with the De Jong deal, which is another reason everyone's getting annoyed because it's like, why hasn't it been done yet? Our rivals are doing their deals.
Yeah.
Why are we dragging our heels with De Jong? There's two options, right? Scotty was talking about it on the Round Our Way podcast earlier today, and he was saying like United should just walk away if Barca aren't going to accept the offer.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to see United just keep going, oh yeah, here's more money until they say, yeah. We've done that in the past with Wan-Bissaka and Maguire where Leicester or Palace have said, no. That's the deal. You know, Leicester said 80 million quid from day one, and eventually we paid it. Palace 50 million quid, eventually we paid it. And he's, if we've got a price we want to pay, they don't want to accept that, then we walk away. Now you might argue, well, we need him and that, so stick with it. But what are you smirking at?
There's a couple, keep going, I'll tell you in a sec.
Right. And,
it's anti-me. It's
right, that's right. But yeah, and I just think, like, what are we going to do? Are you just going to keep giving clubs money, or are we going to say, no, this is the offer. If Barca want to sell him, then sell him. If not, on Friday or whenever we give him a deadline, we walk away from it. Clubs do it with us all the time.
They do it with us all the time, but then also you look at how much Liverpool just paid for Núñez. If United pay that, there's rumours and there's talk that we've overpaid even before he's played a game. They've paid so much money for him, for what he's done. You know, the fact that he's got these knee injuries, the fact that, we'll talk a bit more about it in a little bit actually, with Adam McCullough, but like, I think that if we paid 65 million euros for Frenkie de Jong, is anyone really going, that's a rip-off? Like, I understand, you know, if the deal's not there, if they want 90 million for him, or if they want 100 million euros, I think that's sort of the upper limit of any of the rumours I've seen. But most of the reliable sources are saying they want 65 to 70 million euros, not 100. Surely his market value is somewhere in the region of what they paid for him 3 years ago. Yeah. Which was, I think, there was 75 million euros. So I don't think, first of all, I don't think that deal is dead whatsoever. I think obviously United are going to come out and say if there's no value there, or if they're dragging their heels, or if they're trying to take the mick, we're not going to do it. But that doesn't mean that they are doing that and we are pulling out. It just means that it's taken a little minute. Like, I know City have got 1 transfer done, but they haven't got 5 done. They're not like, right, that's us, feet up. They're still going through this process that we're going through with De Jong now, with presumably multiple transfers, as are Liverpool, as are Tottenham and Arsenal and Chelsea. You know, Chelsea haven't made any big signings, have they?
No, I can think of. I mean, get involved in the chat and the comment.
They're losing half their squad on free transfers, and they haven't replaced him with any huge names yet. Looks like Lukaku's going, Rudiger's going. I think Azpilicueta signed a new deal now, but Christensen's leaving as well. Like, the fact that we haven't signed anyone in 6 days, we're heavily linked with multiple players. I don't think it's a problem. And like I said on the podcast the other day, I don't have the evidence for this, so you know I'm saying it as a sort of proffering the suggestion rather than saying. But I don't know for certain that signing a player in the first week of the transfer market is any more beneficial than signing a player in the 6th week of the transfer market. What evidence do we have that, you know, Haaland will be better because he was bought earlier? Yes, you want pre-season and all that, and last day, deadline day stuff we saw with Cavani. He was missing games in the season because, you know, he wasn't ready because we signed him so late. But if you take 2 extra weeks, that doesn't mean De Jong's going to be a failure and Núñez won't be just because of when they signed him. It's getting the right players in regardless of when you get them.
You know, you make a good point. I mean, some of the greatest ever, I'm not saying that De Jong's going to be one of the greatest ever, the greatest ever signings I've seen United make, we've made late in the day. We've made almost on a whim. Eric Cantona, after a phone call between Fergie and Al Wilkinson. I think that was sort of, was it? I can't remember. It was back when it wasn't a transfer window in August. I think it was like halfway through the season or a third of the way into the season, whatever. I can't remember the exact date. It was near moving towards Christmas anyway, or when the end of the transfer window was then. Dwight York, that dragged on for all through the summer. And everyone was going, you know, John Gregory Villa weren't going to sell and all this other stuff. Andy Cole was another one, was a bit out of the blue. Well, so it can happen.
I remember seeing Berbatov walking through Old Trafford.
On deadline day.
Gone 11 p.m. on deadline day.
It was like, get your moniker on there before it's too late.
Do you know what I mean? So just because you sign someone late doesn't mean it's bad.
I mean, I'm not saying that's how I want United to do the business, but it's you know, it's almost like unquantifiable how that works. You make a good point. Prince Voracys in the super chat says, Joe and Jay, we are 5 to 6 jigsaw pieces away from solving the puzzle in every window. What if we just do 2 to 3 signings? If we do 2 to 3 good signings, then that'll be the first time since Fergie retired we've done 2 good signings or 3 good signings in a window. Yeah. Because even when I thought when we got Zlatan, Mkhitaryan and Paul Pogba in Jose's first window,
2016.
That didn't work out, did it really? The only Zlatan you could say was an out-and-out success.
Zlatan was a success.
I'm not going to get into the public debate because it does me head in.
A lot of people suggesting that I'm either wearing baseball trousers or swimming trunks in the comments. So I have a bit of that look. It's a trouser. It's a full-length trouser. I'm not wearing swimming trunks.
Yeah,
it'd be good if I was though, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be good if I just turned up in swimming trunks one day and a flip-flop, a jelly shoe?
Rebecca Jade O'Sullivan makes a great point. Says, Divas, I think she's talking to someone, but says, you're forgetting or ignoring that Woodward was in control of transfers right up until February the 1st. There's been a bit of a change, hasn't there, in culture and everything. We'll have to wait and see. Me and you said it last year when Murtaugh was appointed. This is the summer, his first summer, where he can set his stall out and show us that he's better than Ed Woodward. He knows what he's doing and that he is going to back the manager and get these deals made. If, at the end of the transfer window, we haven't got anyone and we've just bought, we've signed, I don't know, some unknown players or, we've overpaid on 1 or 2 or whatever and it's just been a bit of a shambles, then you might go, that's not backing the manager the way you said you were going to and the way you should be doing. But at the moment, we just don't know and we'll have to wait and see. It's a little bit frustrating because of the reasons we've said, but I'm not quite there where I'm
We're 6 days into the
panicking
window. I think we just
You're
need
getting
to,
a lot of comments here on your attire, aren't you?
Yeah, 1950s Yankee trousers. Top class trousers. Shirtless Joe Jackson pants. I don't even know who these people are.
I like that. Shirtless Joe Jackson pants is a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
I like
nice.
that. It's good, that. Nice.
What do you reckon to Eriksen? Do you want him? Because, the news is we want him.
Yeah.
And we're stepping it up. All the teams want him. Newcastle, Tottenham, other teams fancy him. United are the ones that have stepped up in the last 24 hours. I think that was in the Mirror today. Do you fancy him? Are you interested whatsoever? Or has he had, 6 good months in the last 4 years?
It's a weird one with Eriksen, isn't it? Because he wouldn't have been top of my list.
No.
I wasn't going, well, we need to get Christian Eriksen this summer. But if we get him and other players, if we've got De Jong and Eriksen, I'd be happy with that.
Yeah.
If it's just Eriksen, I wouldn't be. Or if we don't get another midfielder, it's just Eriksen, I'd be a little bit annoyed that we haven't, we've lost 2 midfielders in Matic and Pogba. I wouldn't class Mata as a midfielder. While we need to strengthen anyway, and we've gone out and got a 30-year-old who, has had health issues in the past. I know he's better now.
And form issues.
And form issues,
As
yeah.
important as
He didn't do anything, did he?
No, in the last 12 months of Tottenham was in and out of the team. I know he fell out with the
that
manager.
documentary they made, that Jose documentary? He was like the forgotten man, wasn't he?
Yeah.
It was really weird.
It was a bit sad, actually, seeing him at lunchtime sat eating his yoghurt by himself.
He was, yeah.
Like
he was
Stephen
he
Glansberg in Superbad.
fell out of favour there.
No one wanted to sit with him. But I just... That's not all his fault necessarily, but, he's not been a top player for a while, and his best form has been at Brentford.
His form at Brentford, just get into that a little bit, and then I'll get into some of these chats as well. His form at Brentford, even though it's just been covered up so I can remember it, I think he played 11 games, was it? And he got 4 assists, 1 goal. They won 7, which was the impressive.
That is incredible.
That was impressive, that. I think we were the opposite of that. I think we lost 7 of the last 10 or something stupid. I know we beat Brentford, but he obviously made a difference there. He obviously, was in a team that was lower to mid-table, and yet they managed to get a lot of results, and he played a big part in that. So there's no disputing the fact that he did well in the Premier League when he was back in it last season, but we can't just ignore or pretend that he's been amazing for the last 5 years, because he ain't.
No.
He would be a good addition
a supplementary player
as a squad player. We've got the Europa, we've got important lots of games coming thick and fast. We want to win silverware. You need to be able to rotate. You need to be able to give Bruno Fernandes a rest. If you drop Bruno for a game and brought in Christian Eriksen, it's not a massive drop off in quality.
No.
I think Bruno's better, but it's not like you're going from a sort of a 9 out of 10 to a 4.
Well, now, if you look in Manchester United squad right now, let's say we don't sign anyone, you take Bruno Fernandes out, who on earth are you putting there?
Donny, and it's the jury's still out.
Yeah.
I know what he can do in the Premier League. I'm still waiting to see what Donny can do in the Premier League. And, that's no disrespect to the kid, but he went to Everton and he missed 8 out of 15 games he was there. So he didn't prove anything.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Unfortunately. Let's bring up some of the super chats then, and let's have a little look there, because we've got them up on the screen there, if we can get them up. Yeah. If we can, and I'll just read through them there. So it says, Tomboy says, what's your favourite reliable sauce? HP for me. I'm just boring, I like red sauce. Amo Rayo says, sorry, what's your favourite sauce? I didn't ask you that.
Hot sauce. Frank Shredder, yeah.
Amo Rayo says, since it looks likely not many signings will happen, how many youngsters will go on pre-season, and which youngsters will go, in your opinion?
I don't think not many signings will happen. Does look like, I think we're clearly in for at least 4 players that we know of already. I just think because it started a bit slow doesn't mean it's never going to happen. I think, I'm not saying we're not going to get 10 players obviously, and we can still answer the question, but just because we haven't signed anyone in under a week doesn't mean that we couldn't still get 5 transfers done. What was it? The other year we got 3 done on the deadline day, didn't we? We got Pellistri, Diallo, and Cavani on the same day. So I wouldn't particularly worry about that. But in terms of youngsters going on pre-season, I think you'll see most of them.
Yeah, I think you will. I think you likes of Diallo, likes of Pellistri, like you mentioned there. Garner, if you still class him as a youngster. Some of the other players like Ethan Laird, Shoretire. I think we had, reports that Eriksen wants to have a look at Ethan Laird. Could be an option for him at fullback. Miguel Galagos says, been a fan forever, love watching the content from Arizona, USA.
Thank you.
As a Mexican, would love to see Edson Alvarez there. I was watching a film, one of my favourite films is set in Arizona. It's called Phoenix. It's got Ray Liotta in it. It's mint.
Is it like Joaquin Phoenix?
No, it's about...
Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah. How did you know that? How did you work that one out?
I've been around these streets a little while, Jay. Jeremy Young says, I'm still trying to stay optimistic. We can sign at least for this window. We can! You don't need optimism to see that we've still got, 10 weeks left of the transfer window. Even just, neutralism is enough to believe that we can still get 4 or 5 windows.
Enough, and that is
4 or 5 players. Yeah, I don't think, you need to be particularly optimistic for us to think we can sign 4 players. The window has just opened a week ago. Let's not, throw the rule book out just because we haven't signed 2 players already.
Exactly. Should we talk about it,
Speaking of players we haven't signed yet.
Frenkie de Jong.
Do it, Ethan.
Is he going to sign for us? We've waited so long. Here he is.
He's been talking, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Running his little beautiful
Giving it
mouth.
a bit of the old north and south math. Yeah? Hey?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
You like a bit of country rhyming slang, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
It's because you're born in London.
No, I was born in Colchester, which is Essex. Moved to Eccles when I was, 3 weeks old. And I've picked up a slight accent.
Yeah. That Colchester
Just a little
accent.
bit of twang there. De Jong, he said this last night when he was asked about a move to Manchester United. You're always flattered when teams show interest in you as a player. I'm at the biggest club in the world at the moment, and I feel fine there. So, no news. So I think that means he's definitely coming or staying.
And then Simon Stone said that he's going on holiday, so he's pretty relaxed about his future.
How dare you go on holiday?
I reckon, because obviously we know he would rather stay. Barca want to sell him. I think him going on holiday now is, do you know when a player puts an awful tackle in and they just walk away from the ref like that?
Yeah.
And the ref's trying to give him a yellow card, but the player's like, if I just keep walking away from this referee, he can't book me.
Yeah.
Him going on holiday is the transfer equivalent of that. It's like, if I go on holiday, they can't sell me because I'm not there to be sold. I think that's what he's doing. He's going, if I just go away, I'll come back the day before the season starts. They might have forgotten that they haven't sold me. I think he's going to be in Marbella for about 9 weeks now because he's just running away from this transfer, isn't he?
I think the opposite.
You think he's running towards it?
No. Yeah. I think he's going on holiday because he's knackered. He's just played a load of games for Barcelona and for Holland, and he's due on holiday. And he wants to go and have an holiday before he comes on pre-season with United because he wants to come to United. I think he's fuming that Barcelona are going to use him as some make weight so they can buy Lewandowski or whoever he is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What's all that about? He's just giving them one of the best seasons any player has ever given Barcelona, and they're ready to offload him.
Would you say that he's given him one of the best seasons any player's ever in Barcelona?
Well, name me a midfielder that's ever done anything for Barcelona, ever. You can't, because there hasn't been one.
No, that's true.
Maybe, no. I don't think any midfielders for Barcelona have ever done anything. Do you know what I mean?
Jerome Boateng was decent.
Yeah, all right, I'll give you that one. Jerome Boateng.
What's the Boateng called? Kevin Prince Boateng.
Kevin Prince Boateng, yeah.
Hey, Vidal had a couple of good years. He's probably their best ever central.
I think he is, yeah, definitely. So I think he's listening. He's like, what? You want to get rid of me, right? Fine, whatever. Just make it happen. He can't say anything because he can't make Manchester United pay the money that Barcelona want. So when he's asked, he's going to say, no, I'm flattered, but I'm happy where I am because the deal might not happen.
Joe Percival's made a good point. Alex Song. He's their best ever midfielder, isn't he?
He's done us there.
Okay, so other than Alex Song.
I love the fact, too old for this SHC has said, Xavi Iniesta.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about them. Yeah. We hadn't thought about that.
We didn't think it through.
No.
So you think he's trying to hide from the inevitable?
I think he's running away from the yellow card.
I was going to say inevitable selling. Do you think he is going?
I don't know. There's reportedly this sort of thing going on in the next couple of days, isn't there? Where basically Barcelona decide whether they've got any money or not. I don't know how this is a financial possibility. But there's this sort of, they're all getting together, they're going to go, have we got any money? No. Or they're going to go, yes. And that's going to be coming up in the next day or two.
Horrible,
so
right?
I think there'll be some big updates in the next 24
If you're a Barcelona fan, right, and last season, Barcelona had no money.
Just nothing.
In all sorts of trouble, right?
Yeah.
And you think, this is horrible, right? The only saving grace in all this horror
At least we've got Messi.
is the fact, there's two. One, we've got Messi, and two, Real Madrid are in the doghouse as well, right? Like, those are the two saving graces. It's like, at least they're goosed as well. They need this Super League as much as we do, because they're in all sorts of mither, right? Messi goes, Real Madrid stagger towards a 14th Champions League and La Liga, and then find a load of investment, another 350 million squid to spend on the transfers this summer. And Barcelona are going, who can we sell?
We've still got that Luke de Jong fella.
Okay.
Maybe we can sell.
United want him. Get rid of him.
Maybe we can sell him instead of Frenkie de Jong.
Yeah, it's
hope that
not
no one
been a
notices.
nice time for him, has it?
No, it's been bad, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's like us, we say.
Shall we get Danny Alves back? He's still here. Right, okay, we can't do that again. That was our only trick. What do you mean we've already got him back? He's 40. I was messing about. What do you mean he's in the dressing room now? He's 40. That was a joke suggestion. He's been playing for us for a year.
This is proper, like, Ollie coming back to United tackling it.
Yeah,
you know,
to play.
Xavi's gone then.
Yeah.
He's gone. This can't be the team that I left.
Who's that?
What is going on here? They're having to go to like people like Memphis Depay and go, can you take a pay cut?
Can you be our best player, please? It's weird, isn't it? It's really weird.
Like, what is going on?
I don't know.
It is a strange time. But yeah, they've got to sell to buy. So
Martin Braithwaite.
yes.
Do you want to be the new Samuel Eto'o?
Like,
And he's like, well, I'm not anything like him. You are now because you play for Barcelona.
we'll give you his number.
We'll give
and
you
his
his number,
shirt.
and we'll give you his phone number as
I mean,
well.
it's
Would
like,
that help?
who was it? We did that with Januzaj, didn't we give him like 11 or something?
Yeah, we give him Ryan Giggs'
You'll be
number.
the new Ryan Giggs. You'll be the new. You'll
What,
be the
he's
new
played,
legend.
950 games for United or whatever it is. He's like, yeah, you'll be that.
Yeah, it's like we did it like with Memphis, number 7.
Yeah.
7, iconic shirt. You'll be iconic.
Yeah.
Like Michael Owen
Like
was.
if you force someone into the shirt, you give
Yeah.
them the shirt's power.
Yeah.
Not giving it someone who's worthy of it.
Yeah.
Try and put the glove full of the Infinity Stones on just a child and turn him into Thanos. No, it has to go the other way round.
Jabak Sahu says, signing a player after the season begins is problematic. They miss the integration in pre-season, have to perform from day one, and it's far less than ideal.
I get
agree.
that, and I assume that's in response to me saying.
I think we've missed the super chat there.
I assume that's
go
in
back
response
down.
to me saying, is that, is it necessarily?
No, that's it.
To
move the thing over as well. Sorry, I can't read all of it.
can't read.
I can't.
But what I'm saying is, I understand why it would be less than preferable to have that, but what I'm on about is there are plenty of people that get signed on the last day of the window that aren't just
Sorry,
shit.
Ethan, just move it over a little
I
bit.
can read
more.
it.
Oh, can you read
AG
it? Go on.
says, I can't now because you've moved it again.
Ethan.
Fucking hell. AG says, are you two also embarrassed by our fans, even in the chat, who are losing their minds 5 days into a transfer window? Better Tesco shop is a nightmare. I'm not embarrassed. Although
listen, right? I will say this, yeah. I understand fans frustrated.
Yeah.
I get it. We've just had a horrific season. It was fucking shite.
Yeah.
Right? We got our manager that a lot of us loved because of what he did as a player and also what he was starting to do as a manager, got sacked early doors because we were getting battered off everyone, including the Scousers 5-0 at home and Leicester and Watford. And it was just like, what is this? This is horrible, right? It didn't pan out with Ronaldo coming home. I know he did well coming back. That didn't really work out the way he wanted. Varane didn't work out the way he wanted. Sancho's not worked out so far the way he wanted. It was just one of those seasons. You saw City and Liverpool going for everything. At one point, it looked like Liverpool were going to win the lot. Meanwhile, United stumbled towards 6. Ralph Rangnick ends up being, statistically the worst Manchester United since Franco Farrell. And it's like, what is going on? This is minging. So you get to the summer with a new manager and you're like, right, let's do some bits. Let's get going.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? I get it.
Yeah.
It's not easy to go to United fans all the time. Just be patient. Just trust. Why should I trust? It's been shit for years. Why should I trust this is going to be any better? No. Show me something. So I understand that. It is a bit hard to just be, patient and trust John Mercer. You probably never heard of 18
trust a
months
man
ago.
you don't know.
Yeah. Trust
replacing
Richard
a man
Arnold,
who you do know
who's
and know
better
is
than the
shit.
banker we used to have because he tells us he is and replies to emails. Let's see some evidence of that, yeah? When we see evidence, then we'll believe it. So I understand it. It is difficult. Personally, I've got another 72 hours in me before I start sending strongly worded tweets.
Nice.
That's what I'm going to say.
That's
Should we see what Mac has got to say for himself?
Yeah, go on then.
Yeah, Adam McCullough with BetVictor.
Talking about transfers.
Yes.
Darwin Núñez.
Darwin Núñez.
Didn't want him anyway.
Didn't want him anyway, mate. Rubbish. He's not even any good. Who will score some goals in the Portuguese league and the Champions League? Who do you think you are?
Yeah.
Hulk.
Nice. Yeah, nice. Go on, play the video for fuck's sake.
Right, I'm the last fan standing and I'm going to tell you why I'm not that bothered about Darwin Núñez, and it's not sour grapes, I promise. Check this out, yeah. £85 million. Manchester United spent £85 million. We've hardly got any money left to sort out our midfield, and I can't go another season seeing McTominay and Fred stinking out Manchester United's midfield, can't cross their legs, can't pass wind. I cannot deal with that. So I'm glad Manchester United didn't spend most of our budget on Darwin Núñez, but also he's had one good season in Portugal. One good season. 2 major knee surgeries. At how old is he? Something's wrong there. I'm telling you. Fingers crossed. But yeah, I'm glad Manchester United didn't spend 85 million on Darwin Núñez. Oh, God. See you later.
So that was Adam McCullough with BetVictor for Last Fan Standing. Make sure you get involved in the comments on that. Say that Stretford, Paddock sent you. He was making the point there that he's glad United didn't spend all our budget on Darwin Núñez.
I agree with him.
I mean, we know, he said it there about his thoughts on our midfield. He's sick of seeing the likes of Scott McTominay, for example, in midfield. He wants to see an improvement there. We need to spend our money in other areas. That would have been basically our lot almost, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It would have been Núñez and maybe one other.
Yeah.
Maybe Núñez and, an Eriksen, that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
So I understand that. I'll be honest with you. My sort of opinion on Núñez is based on the little bit of Champions League, what I've seen him in the Champions League, and also his stats. I've not been watching loads of Portuguese football. His stats look impressive. He's a goal scorer. At times he can look a little bit ungainly.
Yeah.
And that's not me being bitter because he's gone to the Scouts, this is from what I've seen. But he puts the ball in the back of the net.
The only thing that I don't like is I wish we didn't try and get him as well.
Yeah.
Because we're just going to be inherently linked with him now.
Yeah.
Even if we weren't already, because he's playing for Liverpool, there's always going to be that our striker versus your striker, whatever. But now we wanted him. It's seen as though that they beat us to him. Then if he goes there and he's really good, it's just going to be used as a rod to beat United with, especially if Ronaldo scores less goals than him, for instance. I just wish we were never in for him, but obviously we were. And we did like him, but we weren't willing to do what Liverpool were willing to do to get him. So I understand it, and I don't think it would have been wise for United to have done that. Not every player that's great for one team would also be great for the other team. And secondly, even if he would be great for United, we need 3 other things first.
Yeah.
We're so far off that getting a great striker is very much a plaster over a gunshot wound.
It's very easy when you're Liverpool because you've got this, you've got a very good team, decent squad. You haven't got loads of areas where you need to improve or you need to bring in backups. The only reason I think they were so determined to get Núñez is because losing Sadio Mane.
Yeah.
So that it's like a bit of a lifeline.
Shit and injured.
Yeah, and Jota's does well for him in the middle. But Núñez can play off the left, can't he, I think? Yeah. So he can sort of fit into that Mane role, even if they stick with Jota down the middle or Firmino down the middle. They've given themselves options. I get it, it's a lot easier. United used to do it all the time. We just, we'd go out and buy 1 or 2 players in the summer to top up the squad, and we just carry on winning things. And it's different when you're in that position of finishing 2nd or 3rd or whatever than when you're finishing 6th and you losing 8 players anyway who've come to end the contract, and you need to have this overhaul. You need to have areas that are desperate for attention. And even though we do need a striker, spending €100 million for one was never on the cards, really, was it, this summer?
Certainly one that is as unproven as he is.
It's not Harry Kane, is it?
No.
If it's Harry Kane, you go, all right, he's a bit older, but it's Harry Kane.
He's got, 3 or 4 fucking Premier League golden boots.
This is a
I'll
kid.
I'll take the risk, but
we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with him. I'm not going to say it one way or the other. I'm not going to say he's going to bang him in for fun. I'm not going to say he isn't, because, like I said earlier, I don't know a lot about him, but he's in a team that will provide him with a lot of chances. And let's be facts, now United at the minute, we need to get players that can do that for someone, let alone take those chances. Can I just have a look at that super chat there from Tom Boyce?
Tom Boyce with the super chat says, De Jong for Holland seems to love playing in his own half. Unlike United's midfield, who look terrified. Much better than Rice and Phillips. Fingers crossed. That's one thing about him, that you watch him for 10 minutes, you realise how good he is at picking the ball up from the defence and expanding play. That is something we absolutely don't have and haven't seemed to have for a while. Anthony Dunn with the super chat says, love these late night streams. Nice to see Joe in his Jim Jam bottoms in a hoodie, lol. Yeah, I do look a bit like I've nipped for a wee in the middle of the night at a campsite, don't I?
Yeah, Danny Shields.
When you hear your mum shuffling off in a nightie.
Danny Shields says, was Sparky the last player who went from Barca to United? Honestly, can't remember another one. Am I mad? No, he wasn't. Jordi Cruyff did it since then, didn't he? He came from Barca to United post Sparky.
So did, I believe, Gerard Piqué.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah, you're right. Probably because he went back there, didn't he? But he came there.
Did we get him directly from Barca?
I think we did. I think we did as a youngster, and we sent him back there because we didn't need him. Because Johnny Evans. Ramon says we could have got Basuma, Never, Dumfries, Anthony, and Timber by now. His budget. They just forgot about the big signings. Same old United.
But maybe we didn't want Basuma.
I don't think we didn't want Basuma. I think that's a fan-led thing. That I've never seen anything that makes me indicate United was scouting, sort of going in for him, bidding for him, monitoring him, anything with Basuma at all. No. I think it's just been purely fan-led.
And I think
go on.
Every defensive or tackling midfielder that gets signed by anyone in Europe is thrown at United as though he would have made us title challengers again. We're shit because we didn't get him. That guy who's gone to Villa, but Kamara.
Yeah.
It's like, you must be shit if you didn't get him. Well, Villa have got him. Let's see if they're challenging.
And also, Basuma is what, 25 million quid? I mean, he's a decent player. I've watched Basuma a few times, and he does get stuck in and tackles and all that, but he can be a bit sloppy. He's not like just gives the ball away constantly, but I've seen him give the ball away a couple. He did it at Old Trafford, like in dangerous areas. And you think, you put a player like that under the pressure playing for Manchester United, some of them rise to it, some of them don't. And it's like, for me, Yves Basuma wasn't the one where I thought, we've got to get Yves Basuma. What is going on? Like, I was never at that. I was like,
no, you weren't.
Do you know what I mean?
Because if you would, I'd remember it because it's good.
I'd have rang you. Have we got Basuma yet? Why not? Spurs have got him! Fucking hell! Like, I'm not really that bothered.
You still got an actual ring-up phone that you can put down like that.
Hello? Yeah. Is that Basuma?
No, it's Joe. The only number you seem to have, you ring the 18. No.
Like, he might do really well at Spurs. I don't know, but it just, I wasn't like that.
What I can tell you will happen is after the first 3 games of the season when he looks really good, there will be a montage on Twitter of his best bits of the season so far saying United should have got this, Woodward, Murtaugh, whoever, you must resign. And then 30 games into the season, he'll look bang average, he'll give the ball away all the time, and then people stop talking about it. But if he has one good game for Tottenham at the start of the season, it'll get rubbed in United fans' faces.
And he's got like legal issues as well going on.
Let's not even get into
that. That's what I'm not, but
you're signing a lot.
Exactly. We've already got our own things going on there as well, so that's another sort of fly in the ointment. So that aside, the footballing side of matters anyway, I'm not really interested. Jacob OC says, who's been a member of the Academy for 17 months.
You like this, Jack?
Do you guys think that Darwin was a natural selection for Liverpool?
It's an evolution joke.
Oh, like from, what's his name? Charles Darwin and that. Who invented the
chimp.
Fancy.
Charles Darwin who invented the chimp.
I was going to say the long beard.
He invented the beard, yeah. He invented the chimp. He invented the tortoise.
What else? The colour yellow.
Yeah.
He invented the colour yellow, didn't he?
Yeah. Could we be thicker?
And Macclesfield.
The theory of natural selection. No, the theory of evolution via natural selection, that's what he invented.
Good. I'm glad you did.
Do you use it?
Do I use it?
Right, if he's so hard, when's the last time I used that theory?
Yeah.
I used pi equals...
What? Pi equals what? Pi equals MC squared.
Pi equals MC squared.
This is like...
I use that all the time. And that was Pythagoras because you know it because it says pi at the start. Danny Shields says, should have clarified straight into a first team signing. Interesting. Right, let's get into this bargain midfielder, Jay. You've talked me into it. You've said United are going to sign a bargain midfielder for 30 million quid. Who is it?
This is the kid from Porto. It's called Vitinha. Yes. Yeah? I've been struggling with the name, I'm not going to lie. I had him in my paper talk the other day. Now, here's the sort of what's gone on with this guy. He's had a very good season at Porto. They lost one game in the league, I think. Did they win the cup? Did they do the double?
Yeah, they won the double. Won the league, won the cup.
Yeah, so props to him. I think, is he 22? I think I want to say. Yeah, 22 years old. He's got a buyout clause of 30. What, you know? You alright?
Yeah.
Okay. What? Is that Happel? Is that you read that?
No, someone says he invented.
What? He invented what?
He invented Clapagos, which was him said about the Galapagos Islands. He invented Clapagos. Oh dear.
I'll get to that super chat.
Charles Darwin did a lot of his work on the Galapagos Islands. Anyway.
Happy sent a super chat in that we need to read. Why shouldn't you play soccer in the jungle? There are too many cheaters.
Jesus
Have
Christ.
a great night, lads. This show's descended into farce. Thanks for your joke. Thanks for your chat. Had a good season. Good young midfielder. Seems to tick a lot of boxes. Now, the thing is, he's got this buyout clause of 35 million, which in the modern era is about £4.
Yeah.
Because, you don't get anyone for 35 million.
You don't get an Andy Carroll for that these days,
No,
Joe.
not anymore. So
you barely get a Ryan Brewster for 35 million euros.
Exactly. So it's like, what, 35 million quid? And he's young and he's, it looks like he's a good player. Why not? Now, the Porto president has confirmed that there was a concrete offer of considerable value for him, but it did not meet the buyout clause. People have been saying that could be United because United have been linked with him. Yeah. So there's this thing of, United just going in, it's 31 million?
Well, the reports that I think it was United, Arsenal, and there was another team in there, Barcelona, that were sort of the three most heavily linked teams, or the teams that were showing the most interest. They're just buying everyone. They've got no money, and they're just buying everyone still.
We're not selling you De Jong, and I'm going to go buy this kid from Porto.
Yeah, and we're going to get
actually, can you buy De Jong off us? No.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, well, we don't want that kid from Porto anymore.
This thing of a 35 million release clause is obviously very tempting because you are not paying more than that. Like we're locked in at what this guy costs, and if he's worth it, if he's someone that we have deemed to be a valuable player and acquisition that we want, 35 million quid to come into United's first team is absolutely, brilliant money. The only difficulty is, or the one thing where you can look at him and go, here's my concern. He did play for Wolves last season. It was the 2021
this
season has officially ended now, isn't it? Sorry. The season before last.
Yeah.
So 2021.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's my fault. You're right. He did play for him that season. He did have a 20 million euro loan to buy option, and they did decline that option. So that isn't the biggest sort of, compliment you can give a player.
I mean, I was looking on transfer. I don't really remember this kid when he was at Wolves. I think he played 19 games and he lost 10 of them.
Yeah.
Which isn't a ringing endorsement again, but a lot of them were cameos. He was coming on with like 10 minutes to go when they were 4-0 down at Burnley or whatever, and 20 minutes there. Some games he did start.
Well, this is at the end of the season when they were going through a terrible time.
They were going through a terrible time.
Yeah.
He's a young kid. He's only, I think, if he's 22 now, then do the maths. He would have been 20 then or whatever. In a team that's struggling, so it's a bit harsh to judge him on that.
It is.
Do you know what I mean? Because you can look at a lot of midfielders when they were 20 and you think, maybe not. Mm-hmm. By the time they're 22 and they've had a couple of productive years, you go, actually, there's a player here. Bruno Fernandes wouldn't have got anywhere near our team when he was 20 years old.
No.
Now he's probably our most important, one of our most important players.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Definitely.
He certainly rejuvenated, wasn't he, when he arrived?
Yeah.
So we can't be too sort of quick to judge. Where do you stand on this? Because my problem with this is, I know nothing about this guy. And what will happen is, if we get him, people go, midfielder. And if we don't, people go, why don't you get him?
Yeah.
And the truth is, I ain't got a jar of glue about how good he is or not. The only sort of thing that's making me slightly warm to this idea is, and it's a big, if.
It's a big is.
A big is, yeah. If we were to get, say, your man De Jong, this kid, and Eriksen, you think, three midfielders, all slightly different from one another as well. It looks like there's a plan here. Do you know what I mean? It looks like you can see some sort of coherent thinking going on how we're going to sort of, rejuvenate our midfield. I know you're going to do a video on this, aren't you?
Yeah.
Next week, or is it this week or next week? This week, you're going to look at the overhaul that's going on in midfield and the plans. I'm looking forward to seeing that. So that would make me that's the only thing that makes me think, okay. But I'm not going to, again, it's this whole thing of, a couple of weeks ago, I never heard of him.
Yeah, and he's not someone I knew a lot about, or I still wouldn't say I know a lot about him. I've done a bit of research in the last sort of 24, 40 hours since we've been linked with him, done a lot of reading on scout reports and different things, surrounding him. What I would say is, he's not a defensive midfielder. His tackling stats and stuff aren't bad. He gets stuck in. He's someone that's very industrious. He puts the work in. He's not, shying away from it. He's not a sort of luxury number 10 who never tracks back. He's not a Mesut Ozil type of player. But he's not going to win the ball back 7-8 times a game with tackles and interceptions the way, United fans certainly, myself included, kind of envisaged a signing would do. Part of me thinks, or I think a lot of United fans, we want that 23-year-old Nemanja Matic. We want that player to come in who's going to win the ball back, great in the air, interceptions, tackles. He's 5'7". So, maybe that doesn't mean he can't tackle. There's plenty of short players who are good at getting the ball back, but he's not a sort of imposing powerhouse of a player. He's very good on the ball. His passing's good, but again, he's not someone that gets loads of goals and assists. He's more that sort of middleman, which makes me think. Whilst we've seen that Eriksen wouldn't be a replacement for De Jong, they could come together. He seems to me to be much more of a similar mould to De Jong, which, and again, this hasn't been confirmed, but I think he would probably be instead of, just because of how similar they are.
Right, okay.
That might not be, I'm not John Murtaugh, I haven't spoken to John Murtaugh, but he's much more of that sort of attack type midfielder. Right. He's a build-up midfielder. He's good at picking the play up in good areas, turning and bringing other people into the game. He plays the balls into the box. He's not the one receiving the ball, in the box. He's not a Bruno Fernandes type. He's someone that's going to advance play from deep. So he seems more like, we can't get Frenkie de Jong, right, let's get Vitinha instead. And I don't know if that's the order of merit in terms of United's transfer dealings. We spoke to Rob Dawson, or I spoke to Rob Dawson the other day, and he said United have the positions they want to sign a player in. They've got 10 players in each position, and that list of 10 then goes down to 3 usually, the short list. And you go number 1, number 2, number 3. Let's get them, try and get them in that order. And if we can't get any of them, we have a look at the wider list again. If 4 through 10 aren't good enough, we'll wait till next year. And if number 4 is, we'll get him instead. I assume he is on the same list that Frenkie de Jong is on.
Okay.
Whether he's above him or below him, it seems as though he might well be below him, but he's not going to come in and start winning the ball back 7-8 times a game, or nor is he going to be scoring a goal every other game like Bruno Fernandes
It might be as well a bit of United sort of saying to Barca, okay, just so you know.
Yeah, we've got this guy.
Do you remember when we did it with, there was a little bit out with Crystal Palace with Wan-Bissaka? Didn't work. Where all of a sudden we're looking at Max Aarons at Norwich. Do you know what I mean? Do you remember? Whilst the negotiations were, all these stories start coming out, don't know, we know where they came from. That United were looking at Max Aarons as an alternative. Literally 5 newspapers had it the same day. So obviously a briefing. And it's like, okay, I'm not saying that we're there yet because there's only one, I think, report in Portugal that's saying, or a couple of reports in Portugal. But it might be one of them, I don't know. Happy says, quick question, lads. Who's Curtis Woodhouse saying scores the most overrated England player? Yeah, he's a bit of a troll. He's an ex-footballer and a boxer. I muted him over lockdown. He just chats a load of nonsense. Danny Shields says, any chance or any attempts happening to get Jim Ratcliffe on the channel? I'd love Jim Ratcliffe to come on the channel. Would be a preponderance of interest from fans, help make him view a bid as more worthwhile. Seems like the time to buy it. We spoke to Kieran Maguire. We've had Kieran Maguire twice on in a month. Great guy. Does the price of football financial expert, and a mad football fan as well. He's not a United fan, but he's a football fan. He gets it. If you listen to what he's saying, he understands the thinking behind football fans. He was saying about the Glazers, he said, you've seen that 1.3 billion's gone off the price of the club or the value of the club. He says that there might be a point where the Glazers say, listen, now is the time for us to make the most money out of this club by selling it. Also, he was talking about the process that we've seen against sponsors. That can have an effect. The value of the club's going down. Our rivals are winning lots of things and they're becoming a more attractive proposition, for sponsors. Jim Ratcliffe, and I'll just be quick on this and we'll move on, tried to buy Chelsea for the right reasons, it seems. Not to make money, not as a money laundering exercise or just some sort of, I'll own Chelsea for a few years and then sell him and then, I might make a bit of profit or I'll go and do something else because he wanted to do the right thing with that club. And he's not a diehard Chelsea fan, he's a United fan. So there is this sense that, this was Kieran Maguire was saying, that Jim Ratcliffe thinks he's 70, 71 years old, that he's got to that stage in life where he wants to sort of almost build his legacy maybe.
Yeah.
Like, what am I going to be remembered for now? You start looking towards, behind rather than ahead. And there is a chance that he would be interested in being the guy that saves Manchester United, that rescues Manchester United. What a legacy to have. Yeah. And because Jim Ratcliffe for years was sort of in the shadows, didn't do a lot of interviews and all that stuff, all of a sudden wants to buy Chelsea, did an interview with Dan Rowan on the BBC, and Kieran Maguire was saying, Jim Ratcliffe until then was known as the guy that sort of got everyone riding bicycles, whatever, that was what he was famous for, whatever. The biggest legacy you could have in football is being the guy that saved Manchester United. Yeah. And if he could be tempted to do that, if there was a way, if we could get him on this channel, I'd love to sit him here with Joe, myself, or Steve, or Mac, or whoever, and just say, listen, James, if you've got a spare £3 billion, because you could be the hero of Manchester United, or one of the heroes of Manchester United. So, love to see that happen. Who knows? We can dream. If anyone does know him, give him a shout and get him to come on the channel.
Yeah, just text him.
Text him and say, come on, Paddock, and come and buy Manchester United. Right, what have we got next?
Timber, the latest. You're in Timber United linked looking like he's going to stay at Ajax now.
Well, it's a shame, isn't it? You gutted? About that one?
Not really.
Bothered?
I mean, he's a good player, isn't he? But this is Mike Verwijs, who's like a very
Mike
well-renowned
Verwijs is the
Dutch-
David Ornstein even of Ajax.
of Dutch football.
Oh, Dutch football,
It says,
sorry.
Timber's decision tends now more towards staying. He will now go on holiday where he can think about his future, but the chances, because he couldn't think about it before. Do you know when he was like cooking his dinner and that, or he was watching telly? Because he wasn't on holiday, he wasn't allowed to think about his future.
Go on holiday, and he's
Yeah.
put on his itinerary for his holiday.
Yeah.
You know, 10 o'clock in the morning in the pool,
Yeah.
11, sunbathing, 12, thinking.
Yeah.
12
till
o'clock,
1 thinking,
thinking.
1 till 2 lunch.
Lunch. Yeah, that's
Do you
how
know what I
it
mean?
is.
Because he couldn't possibly think about his future. I think about my future every night before I go to sleep. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not anything near as exciting as it is. It's,
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
what you do.
yeah, you're in bed like, oh, fucking hell, what's going to happen? Then you go, oh, it's morning. Simple. I should go on holiday and really think about it.
Really think,
It says,
that's
but
what you need to do.
The chances of him staying in Amsterdam are now pretty big. So it's looking as though this one isn't going to happen. But I don't think this is necessarily a bad thing.
We heard reports as well, didn't we, that Eriksen had promised he wasn't going to gut the Ajax team.
Hey, promise?
Pinky promise. Right. And I don't know. Yes, we need players and we need defenders, but I don't know how serious this Timber one was. At one point, I thought it was going to happen. I'll be honest with you. And then it went very cold very quickly. So you think, well, was it just paper talk rather than, you know, any actual interest from the club, any bids or anything like that? Was it just like you say, maybe he's on that list, one of those lists,
Yeah.
rather than actually, you know, it happening? So yeah, I don't know a lot about Mike Verwijs, but I know he's a very reliable person when it comes to Dutch football.
Yeah.
He's on that top tier.
I think as well, you're asking a lot of what will inevitably be considered, you know, a sort of almost a banker of a signing. When a manager brings a player from their ex-club to their current club, it's always that sign of like, right, I can trust you, we know what we're getting at you. And people look at it and go, well, he better be good because he knows him. So if he comes in as a 20-year-old who, was he 5'10", who has, you know, only got a very limited amount of experience in first team football, just because of his age, not because he's not good. If he's then not excellent, not only does that, you know, seriously affect United, seriously affects him, but it also undermines the manager straight away of this was meant to be your guy and he's not good enough. Like, I think the expectation would have been so high on him, meant to be the sort of up-and-coming, young, next world-class centre-back. I don't necessarily think this is a huge problem that he's not coming yet, because this doesn't mean that he couldn't join United in 2 years. I just think it's right on the cusp of being a dangerous transfer. That very young, he's the manager's man. He's physically maybe not quite there. I just think, whilst we need to sign a centre back, and I'm still hopeful that we will, it's very early on, I don't necessarily feel like this is the worst player to miss out on just because of all those factors put together.
No, you make a good point, and I think, like you say, there is an expectation, isn't there, when a manager brings a player that he's just worked with.
Yeah.
That, like, you know, he's going to be like, he's got to be something special. You know him, and you know, there's a reason that he's the one you've singled out to bring with you, almost.
Yeah.
So is Timber going to be that guy? Young lad, he could have a very, very bright future.
Yeah.
But we'll have to wait and
Look
see.
at, like Fellaini with Moyes.
Yeah.
He was used as not as the manager's man to sort of back him up and help him. He was used as a stick to beat Moyes with.
I think
this is what you thought was good enough for Man United.
I think Fellaini always seems to epitomise what went wrong.
Exactly.
With United. It was a shame because I think Fellaini actually did a good job for
Yeah.
us. I think he did, but like he was always that thing of it's like, oh, he's Moyes, he's signing, and we overpaid and missed out his bio clause and all that other stuff. Yeah, I think this Timber one, you know, I mean, it doesn't seem like you need him right now anyway. You might in a year's time go back and go, this kid's had another great season. Let's make that happen.
Yeah.
Another player.
Let the timber grow.
Let the timber grow, yeah. Another player that we've been linked with from Ajax as well, Anthony, had a good season, 8 goals, I think 4 assists in 23 games for them in the Arriva Divise. I can just see there that there's, sorry, I'm trying to see there. The price tag is quite high, which may not suit the budget. Again, this has come from Mike Verge. Knows his stuff. He's saying that United might be in for him, might not be in for him because of the price tag. Again, because of this sort of limited budget we're on. Where do you stand with Anthony?
It looks like a good player. I just worry that it's not a league that has the best track record of going from the Eredivisie to the Premier League and being successful. There are plenty of good examples, but I don't know. He's a tricky winger who Will he stand up to the speed of the Premier League, the physicality of the Premier League? I don't know. 8 goals, 4 assists in 23 games is pretty good, but it's not so good that he's got to get that out.
Memphis Depay had much better
was
record.
it 20 plus goals?
His record was phenomenal at PSV.
Yeah.
And he was the one that everyone was like, oh my God, this is going to be the next big thing. Came to United, was terrible.
Yeah.
Had a good few months, I shouldn't say that.
Yeah, and again, there's talk of sort of 60 to 70 million euros because that's just what everyone costs now. But maybe this one seems a bit more likely. I think, again, speaking to Rob Dawson from ESPN the other day, like you said, there is this supposed gentleman's agreement that Ten Hag isn't just going to go, I'll have him, I'll have him, and I'll have him, and I'll have him from Ajax. It may be 1 or 2 at a push. And I think the suggestion was that Anthony may be slightly higher up that list than Timber was. And, based on what Mike Vervaaj said in the last couple of days, it looks as though certainly Timber's low down on that list now. So I'd like Anthony. We're worried about the price tag, makes sense, but I like the idea of having a balance of expensive and cheap players this window. My only concern is you have to be very good in the transfer market to buy players for a lot of money and then be successful. We've seen Paul Pogba, we've seen Di Maria, we've seen Lukaku, we've seen Maguire. I know that he's still at the club, the jury's still out for that reason. But players for big money not be runaway successes at Man United. Just because you spend a lot of money doesn't mean someone is brilliant.
You make a really good point as well with
how
that.
much? How much more difficult is it to get players at 20, 30 million and then be good enough for Manchester United? And if we don't get anyone of that sort of higher echelon, that's basically what we're asking Ten Hag to do and Murtough to do. You need to make this team better whilst only spending 20, 30, 40 million on players. That's quite tricky. So it's a tough job on their hands, regardless of which way they try to do it. But hopefully he can be.
I'm open. You've made this point in the past that sometimes it's the narrative changes with a player's price tag so much.
Yeah.
Bruno Fernandes costs 80 million. I don't think he has the season he has when he arrives. Now it sounds strange. You go, he's still the same player. But it's like if he comes in and he's a record transfer, everyone goes, Bruno Fernandes, this, Bruno. He came in, he was 46 million quid from Porto. Sporting Lisbon. And people go, okay, good player, Tottenham in for him. I think Liverpool looks at him. He's not really done loads though. It's 25, whatever he was when he comes, 40 odd million. So it's not that much, We were talking about Gylfi Sigurdsson was more.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But he smashes it. Harry Maguire comes in, 80 million, the narrative straight away, 80 million, biggest, most expensive defender ever. It can all of it. I think when you've got players that are coming in for those prices, maybe that's my hope, is that there's not as much pressure, there's not as much sort of, this guy's got to come in now and absolutely tear it up. But like you say, it's going to be very, very difficult. I'm just going to get in some of the comments as well. I think James Wood said, hit the like button. Make sure you're adding her likes. Good to see Santa Notch in the chat as well.
I'll be seeing Santa Notch on Saturday.
Oh, you're doing the...
We're doing the rundown.
Rundown?
Yeah.
Who's on that? That's on Steve's channel?
Me, Notch, Steve, Janine, and another one of Steve's patrons. I can't remember his name as well. I know his name, but it's stuck in my mind.
So that's over on Steve's channel.
Yes.
Saturday night. Go and check that out. Right, let's just move on to some outs.
Yes, Dean Henderson.
Dean Henderson looks like he could be going to Nottingham Forest. Now, there's sort of slight intrigue there. He could be going to Nottingham Forest on loan, which means James Garner won't be going on loan to Nottingham Forest because I don't think you can loan 2 players from a Premier League club to another Premier League club in the same transfer window.
Interesting.
A
rule from the Premier League handbook. In no circumstances shall more than one from the same transfer club at any one time. Right? You know what that means. You can't have more than one player on loan from the same club at the same time. A rule I don't quite understand. I don't really see the need for that rule. Maybe it's... Why does it matter?
I think I get it, because it could be... Let's say, for example, you're Fergie, and Sam Allardyce, who's your mate, he's having a stinker at Bolton. And you go, don't worry about that, Sam. Got about 9 players that can just turn it around for you.
Yeah.
And I'll loan them you.
Here's what I say. Make it 2.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe you're right. Let's not have it unlimited.
Do you know what I mean?
Let's make it 2. Who cares? Dean Henderson and James Garner, fine. Because
it's quite useful to clubs as well to deal with one Premier League club and loan all your players there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You're not, right, what is it? And also, Forest, let's get into Forest. Forest aren't going to challenge them, might finish above us away with them lately. Well, they're not going to be challenging the same position as we are. It's not that far away, do you know what I mean? It's not like a big culture change moving to Nottingham. We've had players there in the past, they get looked after. Let's do it. Let's just send them all there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like we did with who was it?
Royal Antwerp.
Royal Antwerp.
Yeah.
Sort of feeder
That was a
club type
stupid thing that we stopped doing that though.
Yeah.
That was such an advantageous thing for us to do.
I know.
And then we stopped doing it. I don't understand why.
This is just up to the club, isn't it?
Yeah.
Work out. Do you want Garner there? Do you want Henderson there? Is the law of maybe getting 20 million at the end of the Henderson loan, which is what's been rumoured, is that law more important to you than James Garner getting first team football? Ask yourself that question and come up with an answer, because there'll be other clubs that will be willing to take Henderson, and I think there'll be other clubs that will be willing to take Garner as well if we don't want him in the first team this season, which personally I do.
Ronnie Bag says, why not sell Henderson and bring back Garner?
Exactly.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Anyway,
there were some rumours, sorry, just quickly,
No,
that
go on.
if you had a player on loan with an obligation to buy, that perhaps that could be seen as a loophole where, yes, it's a loan, but because the obligation to buy is there, he can't then return to his parent club, and therefore you could maybe have two, but I don't know if that was confirmed.
Do you
or
remember
not.
when United loaned Tim Howard with a right to buy or obligation to buy or whatever, or whatever you call it, and we put an extra clause in the contract that he couldn't play against us that season when they bought him, and we beat him at Goodison 4-2. Do you remember?
That. What, so after they bought him, he still couldn't play against
that
us?
season. They bought him midway through the season.
Love that.
And I think one of the stipulations we had in the contract was that he couldn't play against us that season. And it was like, you can buy him, like, you loaned then he wanted to buy him. If you're going to buy him this season, then he can't play against us this season. So, all right, there's only one game, he gives a toss. And we beat him 4-2, and the goalkeeper's at fault for goals. And that was one of the games. That for me, that 4-2 game at Goodison, if you remember, I always remember Chris Eagle scoring the fourth. One of the great games. It was when United won the Premier League in 2007, and that went a big way. That and John O'Shea's late winner at Anfield went a big way to making it happen. And yeah, I always remember that. Right, Paul Pogba, if anyone cares anymore.
Going to Juve. That's
go
it.
to Juve.
Matic,
and that's not
Roma,
him, but
confirmed.
I'm just done with the Paul Pogba stories forever.
Yeah.
Matic gone to Roma, linking up with Jose Mourinho. One thing's sort of certain in life: death, taxes, and Matic signing for Mourinho. He loves it, doesn't he?
And that is Stretford Paddock transfers live.
I think we covered everything tonight. Darwinism, yeah. Macclesfield.
Darwin Nunes.
What was it? What was it? The word? Clapagus
Islands.
Clapagus Islands. Nunes. We didn't want him anyway. Yeah, as Macca said, on Last Man Standing, go and check them out on BetVictor. Make sure as well, when you're getting involved in the comments, you let them know that Stretford Paddock sent you. You can go and check him out with Stephen Howson on the old Rum on Saturday night. You know what? Don't forget as well, we're going on pre-season tour. Me, Joseph, producer Callum, Adam McCullough, we're going out to Australia, we're going to Thailand. I've even got to Norway, me, I did a lot. So we're going to be over there. So make sure you are following us in the summer, because we're going to be bringing you all the updates, all the reactions, all the previews, all the live updates as well, all the news as well. We're doing loads of videos out there. We'll also be doing stuff here as well. And we'll keep the interviews coming thick and fast. We've got Sam Pilger on the channel tomorrow with Kirsty and Aaron for the Paddock Chat. So we'll be talking to him. Go and check out his interview with Rob Dawson. A really good interview, like just proper chilling Rob Dawson.
Yeah, he's great.
The honest guy who's just like, this is how it happens, this is what I think's happening. Yeah. None of that nonsense. He's just really good. It was great to get him on the channel, so hopefully get him on again soon. This has been Paddock Live. That's Joe Smith. Go and find him at Joe Smith 93 over on his Twitter. You know where to find me, J Motty. Thanks for watching.